I have a big smile on my face because I really like this book. Like, I want to like this book. I really struggled with it. I struggled with liking it. So it's no news that books are actually being released here and there, all over the place. And I decided to pick 5 books by African authors to tell you about it, just giving my review of these really popular books. These books are books that I've been seeing all over Booktube, Booktok, and of course Bookstagram. Bookstagram is actually #1 place because I see a lot of amazing book recommendations there, and I decided to read these books because most of these books are actually inspired by a lot of Bookstagrammers. In no particular order, Blood Scion is the first on my list of books that I'll be reviewing today. I try as much as possible to incorporate other genres into this list, but yeah, I tried as much as possible to incorporate other genres. So Blood Scion is actually a fantasy book, and it's Deborah Falaye's debut novel. This book was a good one. I am still trying to get the hang of, I'm just trying to get into the entire fantasy world genre. I like it, but I feel like I don't read enough of it, and yeah, I just struggle to follow it. I just feel like okay, it's not my favorite genre, but I respect it. I like the genre, so I decided to read Blood Scion, Deborah Falaye, and it was a good one. The writing was really nice. The storyline was good. It outlined a lot of themes such as colonialism, intergenerational trauma, just a lot of things. However, trigger warnings here because things about child soldiers and all of that, so, and violence, so you should tread carefully while reading this book. This book is heavily inspired by African mythology, especially Nigerian mythology and the Yoruba mythology. And Deborah Falaye have revealed that while she was growing up, she really pressured I think it's her grandfather in telling her these stories about the ancient Yoruba kingdom and all of that. What she incorporated into her book Blood Scion, her first book, and this is going to be the first book of series of books to come. So we should get ready. We should set our minds to that. The story follows Sloan, a 15-year-old girl. She's actually a Scion. Scion are people who have magic that come from the ancient Orisha gods. Orishas are gods in Yoruba land, and she has the ability to emit fire, and she's in a society whereby a lot of her traditions and heritage that the older people know about have actually been suppressed because of the Lucis. The Lucis are actually the colonizers, and she's in a world where there are a lot of wars and there's a lot of killing of people of her kind. Scions are heavily killed by these people because they are considered to be rebels, monsters, and all of that. So she's in this society trying to just navigate her way through, and her mom winds up missing. Her mom is gone, so she's just with her baba, her grandfather, and she just really wants to know what happened to her mother. There are lots of stories in the society, but she just wants to know. She knows something wrong must have happened to her mother. Now this girl is turned 15, and there's space in to train for the army, the Lucis army. And once you turn 15, you're not allowed to be a 15-year-old. You're going to be taken into camp for training to kill your own kind. And Sloan is bent on finding out what happened to her mother. So instead of running away, because people actually try to desert this place and go into a world that is safer and all of that. So instead of running away, she decided to actually go to this camp for training, and she tried to find her way into the archives and know what happened to her mother. So that's basically her journey. This journey is one that is really tough because it battles with her learning about herself, because she has to suppress herself because she's a Scion. A Scion in that kind of space means death. And it's just a lot of things to unpack in this book. So I rated it 3. It's a really nice one. There are a lot of words in Yoruba language that are actually translated. I listened to the audiobook and I enjoyed it. It was really a really nice experience for me. The sense of imagery was on point. I always look out for that. So yeah, it's a good book. Well done, Deborah. And another book I read, it's a debut novel, and it's by Aiwanose Odafen. I have a big smile on my face because I really like this book. This is a genre that is one of my favorites, contemporary fiction, and fiction that actually just deal on women issues. I have a big smile on my face whenever I hear about such books. The name alone already drew me in. Tomorrow I become a woman. What's going on there? What's it about? What's it about? And it had a lot of themes to unpack for us, just like African books. I have a video talking about that, how African books unpack a lot of trauma, just really talking about the African experience, especially about women. So this book focuses on that. It focused on war and the ghost of war, the complicated relationship between mother and daughter, and love, choosing selfhood, choosing yourself, motherhood, just a lot of things to unpack. And it's set in 1970s. If you liked Ogadimma, if you have read that book Ogadimma, that's another book that was actually popular. I think I read it last year, by Ukamaka Olisakwe. It's a popular book as well. If you enjoyed Ogadimma, you would enjoy Tomorrow I Become a Woman as well. It's set in almost the same. I think Ogadimma was also set in its 70s, just like Tomorrow I Become a Woman by Aiwanose. And in this book, Obianuju, a young girl, she's a young girl in her early 20s. She's the only child of her mother, she's the only girl child in her family. And as a girl child in the African and Nigerian society, you've never really fully made your mother proud if you have not gotten married. You have to bring a man home. So it's time for Obianuju. She's in university, but it's time for her to just start looking for a husband. And she finds one in Gozie. Gozie was the perfect package. He's handsome, he's charming, he's God-fearing, and above all, he's Igbo. So understand that this is a time where the wounds from the war were still very fresh. People were still not trusting of people. The Igbos were really hit hard during this war. That's the Nigerian Civil War. And they're trying to just really pick up the pieces. Ojo have lost her uncle in the war, and they're really just trying to find him, because there were a lot of people who were displaced during the war, and a lot of families held on to that for a really, really long time. You know how the pains of war the ghost of war really lingers for the longest time possible. And this her uncle was really loved by Uju and her mother. So she kind of found this kind of charming wit in this Gozie guy. And she said, okay, she has to marry this guy. She just has to marry him. Because there are a lot of girls who wanted to marry him too, but he chose her. And she was really happy that he chose her. He made her heart or her stomach flutter. This was against her better judgment, because she had a friend that she liked, but her mother would never approve of him. He's Yoruba. And like I said, the wounds from the war were still very fresh. It's a really important decision, and it really changed the dynamics of your life for a long time. And how you're going to pick up the pieces is really the question that is going to be on the mind of every reader. Okay, how is it going to happen? This story is heavily inspired by women that Aiwanose, the authors, and she wrote this really beautiful piece. And the story not really centered on Uju. It's centered on her friends as well, even Uju's mother. It's a story that spans 3 decades. So you would get to understand a lot of things that women go through in society, trying to fit in. And this is a story that we know too well, so it's highly relatable. Like, even if you don't relate to it, you can really see the pain, you can get to understand the experience of the Nigerian woman. And these issues that were raised in this book, it's still going on till today. And I really like that it was set from 1970s. It was a nice one. I just like how it really outlines intergenerational trauma again, and and also one beautiful thing was the ghost of war, how they really held on to finding their uncle by all means necessary, because a lot of people did not find that closure after they lost their families during the war. So I like that was highlighted in the book. I really appreciated it, because I could get to see how war is just a really terrible thing to happen to humanity. So I liked that, and it borders on pain and the need to breaking cycles, if that makes sense, breaking cycles. So, and motherhood, that's closely tied to breaking cycles, because Oju's mother wanted to just continue how things have always been. Here's how you are. As a woman, you should stomach this. As a woman, you should do this. As a woman, you should do that. As a woman, you should just really, really do a lot of things. So that's really the intergenerational trauma. That's really the theme of motherhood and pain. So I would recommend this book. I gave it 5 solid stars. 5! Because I love this book so much. It's one of my favorite reads of the year, no doubt. What Happened to Janet Uzor? I actually bought this one. All the other books I've been reading, I listened to the audiobooks on script. Then for this, I got this book. What Happened to Janet Uzor by Miracle Emeka-Nkwor. I really wanted to like this book, but I didn't. I rated it, I can't remember how much I rated it. I think it was a 2 or 3. I can't remember, but I didn't like the book because I think the storyline was pretty good. It follows 2 friends, Deborah and Pamela. We have a Christmas killer on our hands in this one. It's a year now, and Pamela and Deborah lost their friend, Janet Uzor, because they couldn't, like, they were still trying to move past that. But Deborah could not just wrap her head around the fact that this is a girl who knows how to swim very well, but she drowned. So she had a lot of theories and all of that, but Pamela just wanted to move on with her life. Pamela was she just wanted to move on. And these killings have been going on for years. Like every Christmas holiday, someone dies, just a strange, sketchy death. So they're trying to just move past this until Pamela started receiving the same letters that her friend received before she died. The story just follows them trying to unravel or uncover this killer, this Christmas holiday killer. I don't know why. This book, I wanted to like it. Really, really wanted to like it. It was highly recommended on Bookstagram, Booktok. Everyone was talking about it, especially in the African space, because we're like, oh, I didn't hear about it, especially in the African space or Nigerian space. And this is one of my most anticipated book. I really struggled with it. I struggled with liking it. It's told from multiple perspectives, and it's a young adult fiction actually, but I think it had something to do with the delivery. I didn't get into the story at all. I didn't get into the story. I was just in a corner. I didn't get to this. I didn't get into it. Honey and Spice by Bolu Babalola is another book that it was first published in June 2022, and I really wanted to like this one as well. I really did. I want to like this book. The audiobook was on point. Bolu Babalola's writing is almost poetic. It's really nice. Like a lot of words that were just rhyming and all of that. It's a nice book. I read Love in Color and I loved it. However, Honey and Spice, no. I rated it a 2 because the story just seemed forced. I did not like the story at all. I'm sorry. I didn't like the story at all. It has a fake dating trope, and this is actually Bolu Babalola's debut to romance, because her other first book was just a collection of short stories. But this one's a full-length romance novel, and it had a fake dating trope. I don't have anything against this fake dating stuff. I think it's actually cute and funny. However, Kiki Banjo is this sharp-tongued girl. She's really trying to lay and she's bent on laying an equal play field for in the dating scene for women. And she's a host of a show, Brown Sugar. Here she met out dating advice to women not to fall for waste men and all of that. She's just really giving out advice and all of that. And there's this new guy that came, Malachi. He's fine, and everyone's just liking this guy. But she was like, oh, try not to fall for just the waste man of Whitewell. This is a coming of age story as well, and also a romantic book. The book is set in this university, and okay, the way small white will get it, and the women are really saying yes, thank you for the advice and all of that. And the next thing is that Kiki Banjo is kissing this waste man of white will, and now her show is going downhill, so she has to fake date him to save face and their reputation. So now she's dating him, she's saying that okay, they have stuff in common, and everything is not really as it seems. He's not actually a terrible guy, he's actually a great guy. So yeah, that's just what the story is about. And I really wanted to like the story, but I zoned out a million times. I did not enjoy the story at all. I really wanted to. I tried. I didn't. I just couldn't. So I rated it 2. For all of you who are fans of Bolu Babalola, I'm a fan too, but I just did not like the story. Please do not come for me. Thank you very much. Conversation by Shirlene, Obuobi is like one of my favorite books of all. Like, I love it. It's a romance book, and it also was published this year. I was supposed to read this book because I've not really seen much people talking about this book, but I saw it like on script that read this book. And what actually drew me to this book was they said fans of Grey's Anatomy would love this one. I said, great, I'm a fan, so yeah, let's see what's in this book. I was really curious. I thought in my imagination when I saw On Rotation, I thought it was going to be about doctors dictating doctors and all of that, but it wasn't. But I still love the story. It was actually also published this year. So Angie Appiah, she's Ghanaian American. Her parents moved and she's based in Chicago. Their parents moved to America, for a new life and all of that. So Angie is like the perfect immigrant daughter. She's a doctor. Even if you're staying in Nigeria, you're a doctor. You're already the perfect daughter. And she's a doctor. She's okay. She's a 3rd-year medical student, but she's technically a doctor already, and all of that. And she's just really living her life, just trying to make. From the outside, you're like, oh, this girl is really doing really good, but to immigrant parents and African society, you have to be married. Okay, you have to bring someone home. As long as you're a woman, you have to be married. So her boyfriend dumps her, and on top of that, her sister is getting married. Her younger sister is getting married. Then on top of that, she kind of not entirely failed, but she didn't really do well. She's just trying to pick the pieces of her life together, and she meets this graphic designer in a garden. His name is Ricky, and Ricky is just like really sweet, and she finds out that they have a lot in common. He's just attentive. He likes her for who she is, not because of some expectations. She is just really the right guy. This couple, I don't think any couple stressed me the way this two stressed me. I love this book so much. This romantic book. It was nice. Ricky says, "Oh, he's just really giving her the green light." Because I was mad at Ricky at some point. I'm like, "What is your problem?" Okay, this girl likes you now, and he's like, "No, I have a girlfriend." What? So Angie is just trying to move past that. She meets him again and again and again, and they just. You should read this book for yourself, and it just shows that the road to love can be a bumpy one. It just shows the immigrant struggle, the struggle to fit in as a black woman. You have to, there's a part where you have to work twice as hard, and there were really important messages in this book. Friendship as well. There's really an important theme of friendship as well in this book, and just being yourself, no matter what, no matter how much people just try to put you on the sidelines. Be yourself, and I really enjoyed this book. I rated it a solid 5 because it was all the things I look for in a romantic book. It gave me to the fullest. Like, everything was just nice. So yeah, that's my review of 5 most anticipated new releases by African authors. So let me know what you think if you've read any of these books, and I'll be watch out for more videos from me. my follow me on social media. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.